Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Going Beyond Your Comfort Zone. And today I have a really nice guest, Natalia Zakarin. I hope I do pronounce that well.
Yes.
She's from Maryland. Her business story is truly amazing, from struggling financially to a well run seven-figure business, and she did that in a very short time. um, yeah, in this conversation or in this life, we always talk about going beyond your comfort zone, change. What are we creating for the future? I'm sure you've been in some comfort zones and come out of some comfort zones, Natalia. So please introduce yourself to the audience, and then we'll take off.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Natalia. In 2019, I started an accounting firm. So now this is the fifth year, and we have 9 team members. And it's been a whirlwind. Talk about being out of your comfort zone. I think this was a harder, more challenging endeavor than even than childbirth.
Okay.
Parenthood. Like it's literally giving birth to your baby with your business. And I've had to
Mm.
change so many things about what I thought, my mindset, things that I thought the world, like the way the world runs is now my understanding is completely different. So it's been a really fascinating journey.
Okay, great. I like that. Childbirth. I know I cannot imagine what childbirth is. But so tell our audience a little bit on how life was before you started your business, and why what it took for you to get out of that. I mean, comfort zone. Maybe it wasn't comfortable, but it's like it was something that you were doing, and I'm sure you had to take yourself out of that to see yourself as an entrepreneur. So, what was that like for you?
Sure. So I like always had I lived my life the way I thought I was always supposed to. You know, I have a college degree, I got married, was very faithful, hard worker. I worked full time for a very long time. And then when my child was about 2, 3 years old, I gave up my job and became a stay-at-home mom for 6 years. And within that time period, I had my marriage was falling apart. It was actually falling apart before then. I was just not really very aware and very naive. So in 2012, I my husband at the time. He left. I kicked him out, to be honest, and started going through the divorce process. So I was, I guess, 42 years old at the time, and I had not worked for 6 years, so I needed to find a job and get myself situated. He was very angry and left me and took money out of like the line of credit, left me with a tremendous amount of debt, took money, equity out of the house that I wasn't really aware of. So he left me in a very poor financial situation, and then tried to even like dig in deeper and leave me for an even worse situation. And in 2012, it was like a trifecta of I hadn't worked in 6 years. He was trying to financially devastate me, and it was a really bad economy. So a lot of opportunities were no longer available at that time.
Mhm.
So I actually was unable to find work. I was looking, and I kept having to downgrade and downgrade what my expectations were, and
Yeah.
ended up landing a job in a store for $7.10 an hour, which was less than I even made in high school. So it was very humbling and very difficult. And when I received my first paycheck, they didn't even allow me to work full time because they didn't want to have to pay any insurance, any benefits. I received my first paycheck and it was like $200, and it wasn't even enough to pay my electric bill. So it was very difficult. But I knew if I got any kind of job that I could land another job, and so I did, and then another one. So I quickly went from $7.10 an hour to a salaried position in a few months. And that's actually kind of where the start of that journey was. I ended up in a business, in a corporation, that as an invoicing clerk. So that was my first introduction into the world of finance. And
You weren't educated in okay, okay.
I was not. I have no education, no prior experience in accounting. So I ended up being an invoicing clerk. I stayed there for around 6 years as well. And towards the end, it was becoming apparent that I had no upward mobility for where I wanted to go. And they actually started really downsizing and making a lot of changes. And they downsized my position significantly. So by 2018, 2019, I was making less than the poverty levels for a family in the state of Maryland. So I was on Medicare, or my daughter was on Medicare. My insurance was actually free because I didn't qualify for anything. And my mom was helping me. So I knew my situation was dire. I was trying to find other work. No one was even inviting me for interviews. I was turning 50 that year. So I was a single middle-aged mom and not very employable by most standards for the corporate world. And I had just met someone, and he said, just start your own business. And I thought that was crazy because I had no idea. I never had the desire to start my own business or understand what that meant, but I was very desperate. So I started working towards learning how to start a business. He sent me like this course, very similar to like Sam Ovens. I don't know if you ever heard of Sam Ovens. He's like a guru of sales. So it's very similar to that. So he sent me this course for free because he had a copy of it, because there's no way I could even afford anything. So I just started working through it, and it kind of just taught you like what is like what are you providing, what service, how are you going to set that up, what client are you going to go after, how are you going to find that client, just like very, very basic things. So I just started going through this course while still working full time and being a single mom. And I sent out my first like email campaign to try to, get some clients, and I landed my first client, and that was in January 2019. And that's kind of how it started. I thought I would just do it on the side to make some extra cash. And that quickly came to where I couldn't do both, and I just didn't have time because I was working full time, trying to take sales calls during my lunch hour, on the way home, at night, working weekends. It was just impossible. So in August of 2019, without even having enough money to even pay my mortgage payment, I quit my job. I turned 50 in August, and I quit my job and went full time into my business. Very scared, and had to change a lot of how I was thinking, how the world worked, the psychology of sales, how to build a business. So it was very, very difficult, and I just had to keep moving forward because I didn't want to go backwards. I didn't feel like I had anything to go back to in working for a job.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think that without the hardship meant you would have been here?
No, I don't think so. I felt like my marriage was very, very difficult. And then after the marriage was very difficult. And I don't think that, and if I just had a normal job and I kept, doing okay, I would have just stayed there. So I was upset when things were, going south in my job, and they started downgrading my position. I was very upset because I worked really hard and I really tried very hard. So I was very sad, and I didn't understand. But it was almost like the universe was telling me, no, there's something better for you. There's something different that you should be doing. And I just, it was because of the hardship, and because I felt like I had no other choices, that I had to change everything. Otherwise, at 50 years old, who wants to do that, right? Most of my friends are retiring.
Yeah, no, I get it. So, if you, I mean, you say you didn't have a choice, but I mean, you did. You could have also like chosen the, let's say, the poverty life of poverty. I mean, there's and that might not feel as a choice, but it's still like it could have been your choice.
True.
But where did you get the I mean, the motivation, or the spirit or the energy to just keep going at it. It's like this is not what I want, this not how, there's something else for me.
Yes, good
uh,
question. I actually, I had a question, a conversation with my therapist about it, and I said, "Why is things so hard for me? Like everybody else doesn't seem to struggle, especially at that time." And he said, "Because you want something more." And I that really affected the way I was thinking about myself. So I did want something more. I wanted to have a life where I could afford things. I wanted to travel and see the world. I grew up traveling with my family, and I wasn't able to do that for decades. When I was married, I didn't do it, and then after my marriage, I had no money to do anything. I didn't want to struggle with healthcare, so the healthcare was a big difference too. I had no time and no money to go see a doctor. If the dog got sick and it cost me $500, that would take me 6 months to 9 months just to pay off $500. It would just devastate my budget to do anything, and I hated that.
mhm.
I don't like being in debt. I don't like not being able to have something nice. When in that time period between my when I separated until I started, recovering financially, I had to go through every single part of my life and figure out how to live within my means. And living within my means, it was so meager. Like I wasn't. I had to downgrade the dog and cat food. I had to stop buying any tea. I didn't drink coffee at the time, so I wasn't allowed to buy any tea because tea was a luxury. Uh,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
Liquid soap was a luxury. Fabric softener was a luxury. So all of these things I just removed from my life, and I was like, I hated that. I wanted something better, and I wanted it better for my child. I wanted her to see that you can make a difference and you can live the life that you want to. And I also got sick of the fact that I was jealous. I would look at people on Facebook and Instagram, and they're all traveling, and they have a wonderful time. And of course, we all know that that's kind of like fake, or we don't see the full picture. Um,
Mhm.
but I was thinking, why don't I have that? And I hated thinking that way of like being jealous. So yeah, it was just a matter of I was just tired of the way things were, and I wanted it to be better. And I got angry. I was like, I'm gonna figure it out and see like why it's working for someone else and it's not working for me. And it was a lot of it was just mindset and thinking, not thinking out of the box, not really solution based thinking of how I can be a lot more in control of the income I'm bringing in. And actually, the truth is, everybody has a lot more control than they think they do.
Yeah, 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 I totally agree. What I also like about your story, and what I think I'm hearing is that you had it was never really about the money. It was about what you wanted to do with the money. Be an example for your daughter, travel. Have um, have a
Healthcare,
level of, huh?
have healthcare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah, yeah. I mean, here in Europe, we're so used to having healthcare at a decent price. Um, yeah. So I mean, I do. I do get that. And when I work with people, they're always, well, not always, but sometimes they're obsessed with money, but
Mhm.
not like, why would you want to have that money, or what are you going to do with that money? Um,
It is hard to not have money. When you don't have
mhm,
money and you don't have time, it is very hard. So if something breaks in the house, I don't have the time or the money to fix it. I can't hire someone because I don't have the money. I can't figure it out. It was very frustrating and scary, and things would happen, and it was just very difficult, and I hated that aspect of it. And uh, it's a struggle not to have money. So some people are okay with it, but for me, it was very difficult. I had health issues that I couldn't take care of. I had pets that it was every time one of them got sick or something happened, it was a really big impact on my life. I remember a couple of times I couldn't afford to even drive to church because church was like 45 minutes away. So my dad had to send me $20 so I could get to church with my daughter. It was just, I felt like a burden to my family and a bad example to my child also. So, maybe not everybody feels that way, but I think it's because intuitively sometimes you have greater potential. And so the difference between your reality and your expectation, the bigger that gap is, the more that there's frustration there. And so my reality and my expectation for my future there was such a big gap that it was that I had already decided that I need to do something about it, and I wasn't going to turn around and not do it. And that's what really fueled me. It was like just the frustration, the anger, the resentment. I was just done. I wanted
Okay. So now you're running your own business,
yes.
and I'm sure that well, no, I'm making an assumption. Maybe I have it wrong, but I'm sure that didn't go easy
Oh
either.
no.
No problem with staff, no problem like anything, like no difficult conversations. It was just easy, right? What what was it that you ran into for yourself where it's like, or where you noticed that you were like holding back in your comfort zone
Yeah,
in
I
your
think one of the biggest things is really figuring out how to find clients
life?
and close those, or find prospects and close them as clients, right? So the whole sales process, the lead generation and the sales process was completely not intuitive. So if I had not taken a course on learning on how to talk to people and sell to them, I would have never closed anybody. And so I even had a script. So I really believe in education, mentorship, coaching, like all of that really helped to decrease the time it took for me to figure things out. And having that kind of support. So my boyfriend at the time who sent me that sales kit to look at, that was really helpful. I had him. He's a business owner. I could ask questions. He introduced me to a mastermind, which as soon as I could afford it, I joined. I've read a tremendous amount of books. So my obsession became to figure it out, and that shortened the time period. So it really taught me to do what's most impactful, and figuring out the sales piece is the most impactful thing that you can do for your business. And to start with a script. Every time at first I ventured off the script, I wouldn't close anybody. So I had to keep reminding myself about the script. Now I don't use a script because I've kind of gotten used to how to talk to people. And it was really interesting. It was not intuitive. So I can see how a lot of people, when they start businesses, it's very difficult, and they don't have a lot of upward mobility. It doesn't really work out for them. And it's usually because you have to learn. It's a different way of thinking, and it's a different process. And some of the things that we think, oh, they feel good and you're going to do these things, and it's like for your business, but they're not impactful. So I had to really focus on the things that were the most uncomfortable, and the things I didn't want to do were the things that were the most important. So it was very challenging. And it continues to be challenging. The more you grow, now you've got the people quotient, right? So
Yeah.
I now have a team, so I have to figure out how to hire, how to talk to people, how to give them performance reviews, how to find solutions, how to deal with personalities, how to let go and delegate. That's a really big thing that most entrepreneurs have a hard time with, is letting go and delegating and letting someone else do it. They're not going to do it like you would. Or maybe not even as well as you would, but it needs to be done well enough, because you can't move on and you can't scale until you can delegate. So just the learning, it's been just one challenge after another. Clients, I used to be terrified. I had some clients that I was terrified of because I felt like, the imposter syndrome was happening.
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I would feel intimidated. So you just have to power through and just keep learning, keep moving forward. It gets better. It's very uncomfortable. So there were so many pitfalls. I wanted to give up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just funny, or funny. I mean, you have a certain client or size of client, and then that becomes comfortable, and then you get a bigger client, or yeah, um, and
That's
then that's a new thing.
yeah, that's very true. You get comfortable with bigger clients as you grow and as your
Mhm.
knowledge grows and your confidence grows, you get bigger and bigger clients. That's very true. And you keep changing. So I realized, I think it was the second year I was in business, I realized that I'm feeling overworked and I can't afford to hire anybody. I have enough clients, but I wasn't charging correctly. So I had to double my prices so that I could hire someone else to start doing that work so I could keep moving forward. And at first I was only attracting like startups and people that were very small businesses, like micro businesses, because
Yeah.
that's what I was. I was a micro business myself, and that was the confidence I had. So I had to learn to figure out how to attract larger clients, and it was very exciting to actually see the progression. Like at first, we were attracting people that were like at their first six figures or not even, and then we were getting like $500,000 clients, and now like our largest client is $30 million in sales. So and we've got like everybody in between. It's been a very interesting journey to and look back and see how it's changed and how it's really my perception and my mindset and my knowledge that has really grown and changed to be able to do that.
So how do you recognize that? I mean, your environment is constantly changing. Your company is constantly changing. Your clients have different demands. How do you how do you notice that you're resisting that change?
I get uncomfortable. Something tells me just to keep moving forward. That is the correct path. I think because I've done my own sales for several years now. Talking to prospects has been the best learning experience because it teaches me what they're looking for and what the patterns are of what's needed. And so a couple of years ago, I noticed that CFO services, so really analyzing what's happening in the business and helping them grow and scale and become more profitable, that was really what was important. So I've always jumped in. I was taught this from the mastermind that I'm in is to sell first and then figure it out, which is very, very scary, but it makes you figure it out. So I remember selling like my first CFO engagement and trying to figure out how to create the deliverables, which are very, very different than learning bookkeeping, which is what we were doing before. And creating forecasting, reading all these books, doing all these YouTube videos, learning all this stuff, the language. It was very intimidating, and I was terrified, and I cried. So, but I would wipe my tears and but like I already sold this, so I have to do it. And now it's been several years. It's one of our top um, areas of the business that's growing, and that's what people are most excited about, and that's what we can. It's most rewarding because we can really help. And I've been able to hire other people. Because I've had to learn it myself. I had to learn sales myself. I had to learn what was necessary. I had to learn how to build this out myself. So now it's helped me to hire people and see who's a really good fit and can continue that. So if I had never done it myself, I don't think that I would have that insider knowledge of how to hire other people to do it. Yeah.
Okay. What? So you said sell it first and then figure it out.
Dangerous.
No, I mean I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when or how did you figure out that that was the way to go? Who gave you the confidence to do that, or what gave you the confidence to do that?
Sure. So that was a combination of just all of the prospecting calls. Like when I would ask a discovery questions. So in sales, you have to ask a lot of questions to really understand what the pain points are and what the problem is, so you can know what the solutions are. And that was a recurring question. Like when I would ask, what do you do to evaluate profitability? And 95% of the time, the person that owned a business would say nothing or not much, or they don't know, or that's where they're stuck. So it's just a recurring problem, pain point that I saw in everybody that I talked with, even the ones that said that they do evaluate, they still need help because they need someone to bounce ideas off of, or just to help them see their blind spots and help them make decisions that are not emotional, which is what a CFO engagement does. So that was the first piece, is just seeing that in the marketplace there was a high demand for it, and they weren't getting the results. And a lot of people were hiring fractional CFOs and still not getting the results that they really needed. And then the second piece was that the mastermind, I'm in an accounting mastermind specifically for my type of business. And they were pushing how, it's an excellent mastermind. It's very expensive, very worth it. Definitely, invest in yourself and your business. But they were helping us to understand how compliance, which is what accounting typically is, how compliance, that's just like doing the bookkeeping, making sure things are accurate, filing tax returns, how that is not value-based, right? People don't care, they just want to get it done. That the value is in the analysis and in, helping people grow their businesses. And so they put together some information about, CFO services, and this is what they think it should look like. And so I took that and then took other information from other books and podcasts and everything and built out my own deliverables. But so those two things really helped me start. It was the ongoing message from the marketplace and for the demand of it, and then the mastermind that kind of solidified that that's the way I need to go.
And did that ever disappoint you?
Did that what disappoint me?
Yeah, or did you ever fail, or however you want to call it?
It was hard creating my first forecasts. Someone sat down with me. So in 2021, my third year in business, the opportunity to buy another accounting firm fell into my lap. It was a friend of a friend who had a small accounting firm that was doing what we do, just bookkeeping, accounting, and CFO services. So we don't do any taxes. We're just strictly accounting. They had a very similar model. They were actually part of that mastermind also. And they were given an offer from one of their clients to join them as a W-2 employee and wanted to sell his client base. And so I jumped on it. And he had several CFO clients at the time, more than I did, because I was just kind of starting to dabble in it. So suddenly I got 6 CFO clients that I had to figure out what to do with. And he actually showed me how he did forecasts, which was really helpful. And then I just had to learn things from like books and online. But it was hard. I think the first 6 months was a huge struggle. Every time I had a meeting with the client to present, I was terrified. I didn't really feel like I knew what I was doing. But I knew more than this is what someone taught me a long, long, long time ago. I knew more than the client did at that time, so I could still be helpful. And so I had to have the confidence that I was looking at things differently, and I still had a little bit more knowledge because I was focusing on building that knowledge. And that would keep building, and that kind of helped. So it's almost like looking at like a line. And like the client's knowledge is here and your knowledge is like just a little further out, maybe like here, just a tiny bit further out. But that's just enough to get started. And so now it's like the gap between what I know and the clients know is a lot more. And I hired an excellent CFO / CPA that runs the meetings with me now. But that was how it started. So I think that if anybody's thinking about starting something they feel uncomfortable with, just do it, because the fact that you're focusing on it and learning, you probably know more already.
Yeah. And the trap is that you're both are looking at what you both don't know.
Yes.
If you're looking at something, I mean, there's always something that you don't know, or that's like, but yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's really, really like, I agree with you. If someone, like, I don't know how Richard Branson said it some way. I don't know exactly how, but if like someone is willing to give you the job, you take it.
Hmm.
Don't, or the assignment, or the project or whatever. They believe in you, and now start believing in yourself.
Yes, that's a really good point. We are a little bit more strict with what we take because now I need to make sure the team can do it because I'm at
Yeah,
a position where I'm not really doing the client work, the team is, because I'm working on the business, not in the business. So, but in the beginning, just take everything and learn as much as you can. I think it's a good strategy. And especially because I was taking everything because I needed the money. So,
yeah,
you know, but it does transition into really figuring out like what's most important, what are you going to keep as a service or product, and what you're not going to keep, by just testing it out, over and over again. And it's a matter of like looking objectively at what you've done, what you've created, and can you make it better? Is it profitable for you? What tweaks do you have to make? Do you abandon that? So you're just looking at things objectively and constantly reevaluating.
great. And taking this, like all the lessons that you've learned and where you're at now, what are you? How are you taking this forward into your future? What is it you want to create, or what is maybe that thing that you still want to take out of your comfort zone?
Yes, and a comfort zone is interesting. It's so you get used to being out of your comfort zone to a certain point, but as your business grows, the challenges are actually higher level challenges. The risk is higher. So now I have people really depending on me. I've got, 9 other families depending on me, on the business to support them because they're employees. I have clients that are counting on us to support them and to do the work and provide, what we've promised them. And So the challenges are greater. It's Now it's a matter of learning how to become a better leader. So that's not necessarily intuitive. So it's learning how to lead teams and create processes and systems that are that you can that are recurring, more like an assembly line almost, so that other people can do it well and the way we do it, which is a little bit different than what everybody else does. So it's still like this is still the Zaccharin consulting experience, right? It's different than any other accounting firm, and that's what we sell. My goal is it's been very exciting because it's a lot more rewarding. It's not a matter of just making money anymore. Now it's a matter of bringing value out into the world. Value to our employees, value to clients, value to the community. We donate every single month. We donate to various charities, um, and and the ability to create something. So our core values, 3 of them are excellence, integrity, and accuracy. So creating something and being able to strive for excellence is very exciting for me as well because it's a challenge, right? So we've got really big goals. Our goal this year is to double again. We've been doubling year over year, pretty much. It's a big goal. The bigger you get, the bigger that goal becomes. It's a bigger number. And the goal is by 2026, I think. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see in the next 2 years how things roll around. We are getting close to the potential of becoming in the top 400 of all accounting firms. So that's what we're striving for. And then just to keep growing, because the more we can grow, the more value we can give clients. And the more we can help people. And it's just, so it's become different. It's not a matter of me making my money to survive anymore. It's The challenges continue, they're bigger, but the rewards and the value is bigger too.
Wow. I mean, I'm just like how we started this conversation. Like, maybe I should buy the B brand for the cats and the dogs. And now it's like, did I become a 400 top 400 accounting firm?
Yeah,
It's That's how it can go. And that's how it you yeah.
yeah. It's, what, being in a mastermind normalizes success. So at
Mhm.
first I was like, I just want to make $100,000. I want to get to my first 6 figures. Like I just need a little bit more money. I thought that was huge. And then when I got to 250,000, I was like, well, I'll stop at 500,000. I don't think I need to make it bigger. You know, and then I joined the executive level of the mastermind, and I was the smallest business at that time in there. Now I'm one of the largest businesses in that executive mastermind. It just normalizes it. And like my friends are very, like a lot of my friends and that are peers of mine, that, you know, colleagues, it's just, they have the same challenges and they just make it easy. So like something happens and you have to fire someone, it could be really difficult and very emotional. And having that support is and it's extremely valuable, so that you don't, like, I would just normally probably sit there and, you know, like think through things and overthink things and stress about it. And it really just gives you a roadmap of, like, you know, like these other people have been in that situation and they know exactly how it feels and they know the pros and cons. So it's very helpful. So I really believe in support, you know, coaches and mentors and masterminds. Like having that support has really, really helped me. There's no way I would have been able to do it without that.
Good. Mommy, you created that as well.
Yeah. Well, now we're the support for clients.
Sorry?
Yeah. So now we normalize success for clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just get to, everything that I learn or we learn as a team, we get to pass along to all of the clients we work with. So, you know, and so it's not just theory, right?
No.
Theory, we're showing them, you know, what can be done.
Excellent. So, where can people reach you for
Sure. So
your services and for what? Feel free to go all in on your pitch, sales, whatever you want to.
thank you. So it's Zaccharin Consulting.
Yeah.
We work with any U.S. based business, and we offer QuickBooks bookkeeping services, you know, month-end close, invoicing, payroll. So it's like all the compliance kind of stuff that that's really, really very important. We also offer the CFO services with projections and forecasts and trends and helping you scale your business, hire the right people, you know, build wealth, build net worth. What does that look like? You know, get closer to your retirement. So those are some of the services that we offer. The way to find us is LinkedIn under Natalia Zaccharin. You can find me there. You can find me on Instagram under Grow Your Bottom Line is my URL. And on Facebook, there's a Zaccharin Consulting Facebook page, or at the website, which is www.zaccharinconsulting.com. And all of the information is there as well as my email and my phone number. And I think even my calendar link to book a free financial consultation. And the financial consultation is the discovery call, but we make it so that it's really helpful to you. So even if it's not a good fit for us to work together, you still can understand what to look for and have recommendations of what your next steps should be.
Okay. Yeah. All these details are in the notes as well, so you can click the links there. Yeah. If any of the listeners is thinking about this, just pick Natalia up on it and see what you can get out of this discovery call. Natalia, it was really a pleasure talking to you. I love your story, how you went from the poor fat lady to running a seven-figure business. No, it's really, I mean, it's really cool, and it really shows a lot of like dedication and
Thank you.
yeah, I'm sure it was not. Some that people tend to think that these things are easy. They're not. You have to show up and keep showing up. And you did that, and you proved that that's possible. So really thank you. I will be here next week with another guest in Going Beyond Your Comfort Zone. Yeah, thank you very much, and
Thank
hope
you.
to see you again. Bye bye.
Bye bye.